Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. And I can tell you what, I have very slow data uploads, but I did want to go live tonight because today's the anniversary of JFK's assassination. Can you feel it? Can you feel something in the air that's growing and growing? I could go through daily articles, play news clips, read about this and read about that, which I'll do some of that. But no, I got stuff going on in my brain that's kind of hard to commit to paper. You just got to let it come on out. Uh, we're seeing a lot of pieces of a puzzle come together, and I think it is a point in time where there are more people cognizant of the fact around the world, more people are aware of the fact that there are a group of elite people want to be elites. You know, you little local puppets, state puppets, and then just us peonies down below. And anybody that tries to institute what was instituted almost 250 years ago, where the peonies are in charge, anybody who tries to restore that 250-year-old accomplishment, they're going to end up like JFK, but not anymore. Not anymore. We're going to expose them. It's coming. And all the signs are pointing to it. Mr. T's put out a huge list of appointees. We've got a deep bench. We've got so many people to draw from that have gone through the crucible, gone through the fire, gone through the slings and arrows, the sticks and stones, and remain loyal, not just to Donald Trump, but to their family, to humanity, to their country, to their ideals, to their faith. Those are the people that are being put up for nomination to lead agencies. And each agency is nothing more or less than a criminal enterprise that has been siphoning the sweat of the brow of citizens and putting it in the pockets of elitists around the world. They don't give a damn if your children go to war and never come back. They look at you like bugs. And well, the bugs are like the ants, okay? In that, what was it? Wasn't Disney, but it was a Pixar movie. The ants rising up. So I hate to put it in a cartoon sense, but you can feel it in the air. And before I say hi to everybody, I was going to start off this broadcast just with what I read the other day. Rest in peace, Mr. President, JFK. Through your wisdom and strength, and since your tragic death, patriots have planned, installed, and by the grace of God, activated the beam of light. We will forever remember your sacrifice. May you look down from above and continue to guide us as we ring the bell of freedom and destroy those who wish to sacrifice our children, our way of life, and our world. We, the people, that prayer said every day in the Oval Office. We know by who. When Donald J. Trump was president, that prayer was said every day in the Oval Office, and it will be said again. Don't forget JFK's Secret Society speech. Where we go one, we go all. So, I don't know if the internet is flooded with panicked individuals, or if it's, bad weather or crooked satellite or what, but I hope I'm streaming through at least my voice, because I had a hard time uploading things, downloading things today, and it's been that way all day. But it's just as well, because I'd rather not be blurting out stuff that come across, as we used to say in the old days, the wires. People get knee jerking over stuff that come over the wires, like, oh gosh, there's ambulances at Mar-a-Lago, and this character, what's his face, was going to be nominated for this, and now they're saying Donald Trump is close to peace with Putin, even though Trump put out a statement he wasn't going to be speaking to anybody till he actually takes office. Hi, Roland. How you doing? Joan, how you doing? Wayne said, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it. Oh, well, hopefully there's more than that now. Hi, Jess and Bean. Wanda, Sherry, Flannel Cheese, Justice made it all the way from Texas, got here. Hi, Sissy. How you doing? Sandy, Candace, Cleanup, Island Girl, Lone Wolf, Cola. And see what Diane's saying. Mr. T. Yeah, I got a bunch of his nominations, and they're all, oh my goodness, they're all going to rattle the cages. Okay, Office of Management and Budget, Secretary of the Treasury. Woohoo! Working with Doge. That's not just Elon Musk. That's a team of people. A team. Probably been trained in military intelligence. What did Sammy Gravano say about Donald Trump many years ago? He was surrounded by retired, top of the line FBI guys. Couldn't get to him. Even the mob couldn't get to Trump. Hi, Angela. But now, Miss Mindersu, how you doing? We have a different kind of mob coming after Trump, and they're failing at every turn. But what makes them more lethal and dangerous than any La Cosa Nostra or any Tren de Aragua or anything like that is they've got the assumed authority and power of the United States government behind them. It's a combination of prosecutorial politburos and black robe insurrectionists, along with these compromised politicians. And that's just about as plump as plain as you could put it. Miss Mendersu's here. Justin is from points unknown. Hi, Ronald. Damon, nice to see you. So Angela's here. You like the ambassador pick? Yeah, so all of them look good to me. Pappy, how you doing? Yeah, it's going to be some big changes. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, Kana says. So, there's a lot of them sweating. I guess I got clips of Andrew McCabe on being so-called interviewed on, I guess he was on MSDNC. And I tell you what, there might be a bigger shift than we even could have dreamt of. Oh, I got 5x5. It's good. I'm glad. I'll tell you what. I feel bad for one of these liberals. I'll say it. I feel bad for him. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why it might point to an even bigger shift than we can possibly realize. Did you hear about these people putting out stuff? Kamala Harris has still got 40-some% of the people in the United States. She can make a comeback. I mean, delusional that they're going to run Kamala Harris next time around. What does that tell you? They've got nothing. She is nothing. She's what you call vapid, V-A-P-I-D, vapid. All right, flaccid, vapid, worthless, and the media complex that has been pumping her up is on its last legs. DNC is going to be put up for sale, and guess who's thinking about buying it? But back to my point. Somebody put out a tweet that said, Kamala can still win next time around. We got to rally together. And then they went, this poor individual, hi Marie, how you doing? Went to Blue Hair, or whatever that new site is, Blue Hair, and put out some, I've got them. I'll read some of them to you. Anyway, this famous person, hi Cola, let's see. MS, did you win the races, MS? This person, let's see if it, no goggling now. Did you all hear about a famous person checking themselves into well, I don't want to say a cuckoo house or a nut bin or anything like that. I mean, but anyway, they checked themselves into some kind of facility to get their mind right. So wigged out and stressed out. Ravens Wings got it. Rob Reiner. Let me tell you something. I'll cover that when I got camera going and good stream. But I'll tell you what, Rob Reiner, I know he's a jerk. I know he's a meathead, can't I said. But he was part of a classic television show, All in the Family. Yeah, he's an old school liberal. He made one of the most famous movies that generations have enjoyed, that was family oriented, and people remember very fondly. I mean, it wasn't a childhood movie for me, but for many people that are middle-aged, it was a childhood movie. Y'all know which movie he's responsible for? Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner, Cola, checked himself into a cuckoo house. Today, yeah, he was always a fruitcake, Roland. But I never heard of him purposefully taking our culture, using Hollywood to pollute. And like I'm saying, the two things he's most known for is All in the Family with Archie Bunker, and a movie a lot of kids remember from their childhood. Todd says, Stand By Me. It's a good guess. Justin Rose says, Goonies. No goggling now. And it was a fairy tale movie. And it had Peter Falk started off the movie. You know Peter Falk? Columbo. That's a hint. Columbo. And the kid from, was it Growing Pains? No, what was that kid? Anyway, see if anybody gets it. The kid from Yesteryears or whatever that TV show is. The early years or whatever it was. There you go. Jess and Bean got it. Princess Bride with Andre the Giant, Carly Hughes. I've always had trouble with his name. And It was a story, a love story, a fairy tale. Yeah, Jessica says awesome movie. It was. A lot of people think very fondly of it. A 1980s movie. And there was nothing, no symbolism in it, nothing over S3-actual. It was just a exciting story that you would read to a kid at bedtime. The Wonder Years, right, Cola? Yeah. And As You Wish. That's right. That's the famous words from it. So anyway, I was sitting there reading these, whatever they call it on Blue Sky. It's not tweets, it's not X's, but he's telling people, it's terrible that Trump won, but we got to, get together and work together. And boy, I'll tell you, they went after him so savagely after he announced, I'm leaving, like all the rest of them. I'm leaving X and I'm going over to Blue Sky. Well, he goes over there, tries to talk like a rational human being, and they run him over the coals to the point where he's got to go get psychiatric help, I guess. You check yourself into a facility, that's the wording. He ought to sue MSNBC. Because I got a clip that I'll play next time I'm live of when they announced Trump won. And instead of saying, the next president of the United States is Donald J. Trump. He's won this state and this and that. He survived an assassination attempt. Whatever the country is going to pull together. No. They go down that puked out list of garbage they've been talking about for years to incite people, to instill fear in people, division and anger in people. You start seeing people with the kind of notoriety, I feel, a clean personal record, if not a liberal kook, yeah, but still at heart a good person. He's a victim. He's a victim of what I have said for years, and we all know. High-level, illegal, psychological warfare campaign. That is the purpose of a psychological operation, is to instill fear, confusion, and division. It is harmful. That's why it's considered a weapon. He's one of millions. He could lead a class action lawsuit. Purposefully misdirected. He's been made to, along with millions of others, made the subject of scorn and ridicule and being attacked publicly. So maybe his little visit wherever he is, it'll be like the Fetterman going into treatment, checked himself in at Andrews Air Force Base. Now he's coming out and he's the most sane Democrat you ever heard. Not that that's saying much, but no, hear me out. Isn't that the truth with Fetterman? Now he's telling people, hey, you got punked with the Matt Gaetz situation, and you better settle down and start thinking more rationally, or because you ain't gonna make it past Thanksgiving. You keep freaking out at every little thing. And this is coming from a guy that had a major stroke and was hospitalized for multiple months from depression. Whoever treated him did a damn good job, and Reiner should check into that. Hi, Melvita, how you doing? Karen, nice to see you. David's here. So, okay, Kathy, I hope you enjoy your dinner. So maybe when you have somebody from the establishment, old guard Democrats, because that's what just about everybody of note in the Trump administration used to be a Democrat, an old school Democrat. RFK, the main one, and then Tulsi Gabbard, and then Elon, and you can go down the line. So he's had his public life disrupted, his private life disrupted. Just this one individual. He's not the only victim. I'm just saying he's a prominent victim who's trying to tread water psychologically and keep himself from psychologically drowning in this cesspool of lies, misdirection, and nefarious doings that have been going on for decades. So I hope he does soon. But I tell you, what's MSNBC going to have? They're worth nothing right now. They're worth nothing, and word is it's up for sale, and its value, just like I said with anything else, is traffic. With advertisers, they go where the people go. When I was selling real estate, if you're going to get involved with a commercial piece of property, what do you want to know? The traffic count, how many people drive by the place. Okay. It's the same with what we're dealing with on the internet. How much traffic, how many views. And MSNBC is in the turlet, Edith. It's in the turlet. Except, people want to watch the drama. Sonny Houston or Houston or whatever her name is are reading out another legal notice. And they're starting to mock that like it's something they don't have to do. And also, we've got this going on. The mainstream media wants to address and repair the fears of the elites. Okay? That's what they're doing. That's why they don't pay attention to what Putin said that I covered. They want their crisis to be something to upset us. They're the ones looking at jail time. They're the ones looking at losing their power. They're the ones that are going to be displaced from their perches. Great. It doesn't scare me or upset me at one little damn bit. But they want to use the media to communicate that their distress should be our distress. So what happens when they do that? The media does not report things that we should be concerned about, like World War III. There's a lot going on that front that's simply not even getting reported. And we'll go over that stuff. We'll go over some of that stuff. But the thing to remember is the anniversary today, and I saw a video with Tucker Carlson speaking to RFK Jr. And RFK said Mike Pompeo talked Trump, supposedly one of the many people, I'm sure, that pressured Trump into not doing this DECLASS of what happened to JFK, his uncle, because he said it would be catastrophic if he declassed the information. And I found it interesting that RFK said, well, it happened, he said, I think he said 62 years ago, but it, nitpicky, but it's 63 roughly. 62 or 63, whatever. But he said that the people involved are all gone on off this world. And he said, given that it's been 60 some years, everybody implicated has passed away. And he said a couple of them passed away just last year. Yeah, that's right, Ravenswing, 61 years. You're right. 61, yeah. Yeah. So, no, David, I was just about to say that. You said Papa Bush being the last. No. You can go ahead and goggle this, David, or whoever's in the chats. When did Papa Bush die? Papa Bush died, I will guess, because I can't goggle anything while I'm on here with y'all. I will guess 5 years ago. He died in 17, sissy? I'd make it longer than 5 years. So RFK said in just the past year, or two. So what big names, maybe they weren't big names, passed away in just the last year or two? And then Roth's, and then Child, maybe, I don't know. When did Queen Elizabeth die? But I'll tell you one that I think is going to be on the list. Feinstein. She was kind of young at that time. She was, not quite 30, I think. There you go, David. Kissinger. But he said everybody implicated are all gone. So that leaves out somebody that I never thought was involved anyway. Who do you think I'm thinking of? Hi, Melinda. I'm thinking of Jimmy Carter. He's still alive. That's why he didn't get a letter at the funeral for Poppy Bush. That's why Jimmy Carter didn't get a letter. Cheney's still kicking. Yeah, Feinstein corked off. I don't think she was. But anyway, so that's an interesting clip. It's about 1 minute 30 seconds. I'll play it the next time I do a broadcast. Tucker Carlson also said that he thought Mike Pompeo was a criminal. And he said, Mike Pompeo threatened to sue me. And they said, I hope he does. Now, Mike Pompeo is, of course, way too young to have been involved in it. Yeah, that's right, Roland. There's some foreign leaders. That's why I was asking about Queen Elizabeth. Jeffrey, yeah, that's right. They said that addition at Gitmo was more like a nursing home, a geriatric section. And Sorriosio is still kicking. So maybe RFK doesn't have all the information. Yeah, Todd says Woody Harrelson's dad. Don't forget, Trump shocked somebody, I believe, talking about their father's involvement. Who am I talking about? We've talked about it in the past. I wonder when he passed away. And who am I talking about? Who got shocked? Well, for somebody to be involved to any meaningful degree in JFK's assassination, I would say they would have to be at least in their mid to late 20s at the time, or early 30s. So that would make them around 90. Or as in the case of Henry Kissinger, he was 100 when he passed. There you go, Roland. Cruz's dad, Karen, got it. To Ted Cruz's father. When did he die? I don't know. But Trump made no bones about it, about his father being tied in with the assassination of JFK. Said it to his face. So I don't know how many of you go on Telegram, but I found a folder in my phone I didn't even know I had. And I said, what's this? And I opened it up and had like 30 video clips, little short clips from Telegram that I never uploaded. And I said, what the heck? Maybe this is why I'm having a hard time uploading and stuff like. I know it's not the reason, but I raced a bunch of them. I reviewed them. It's tanks getting blown up, buildings getting blown up, war stuff, or little interviews that aren't pertinent. But I found one I'm going to play that shows a guy with a shoulder-fired missile taking out a plane. So I saved that one. And that's just to show everybody how quick and easy, if you got the right equipment, it is to take down a jetliner, helicopter, anything else you want to. I think it's called a man pad, what they were using, not the old Stingers. So now you know why Trump's was using ghost planes to go to rallies. They would say, Trump's at the airport. 4 minutes later, he pops out of the back of the building and onto the stage. No way he could have got to the airport and at the building at that time. And we know about the Iranians because I see Roland said Iranian leader died last week. I don't know if Iranians were in any way capable of being involved during JFK's assassination, but they sure are on the radar for attempts on Mr. T this time around, aren't they? What did we hear? It was 3 teams, 9 missiles, 3 missiles apiece to 3 teams running around. So that means you got 3 man pads or their equivalent. They may have been taken out when we don't know. Or the majority of them may have been taken out. Oh, you heard 6 screws, Roland? Ah, you had a bunch of junk dumped in your phone? Yeah, be careful where you go and misspell that KILL word. Debbie, you got to take that comment down, honey. Appreciate it. You used the word twice in there. K1LL. Oh, that's right, Karen. Who was on board? I was a guest on a broadcast one time, and I mentioned a air show, and I played the video on my broadcast where this plane was flying along in an air show, and another plane came from behind and below. It came right up and whopped right into that plane, and somebody said, "Well, that was an air show accident." No. It doesn't matter the circumstances. Who was on board? Then I got another back and forth before I started doing my own broadcasts. This guy said, I'm a mechanic. I know for a fact that people can't take over cars. I've been working on cars all my life. I said, well, we were talking about the Georgia staffer and Hesh, that any number of times when a vehicle went all of a sudden full blast out of control. And if anybody knows 10 cents about cars made after, I would say 1998 or thereabouts, just about every one of them can get hacked with the computers they've got in them. But this guy didn't believe it, thought I was crazy. Oh, okay. Just don't get anybody mad at you when you go out there in your 2020 whatever you drive and don't answer a pager. That's okay, Debbie. No problem. Yeah, they took my phone out too. I told you all about that. Somebody gave out my secret email that I was a different person on that phone for 2 years. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Field McConnell. He's big on the JFK Jr. situation. So anyway, so we have got the drumbeat of war banging hard. And the Russians came out. Lavrov, he's the foreign minister. You might as well say the all-around mouthpiece for the Russian Federation as far as foreign communications. And he said, it looks to us like the outgoing Biden administration is doing whatever they can to, well, he didn't say it exactly this way, but they're trying to start a war to screw up the incoming administration and make it as difficult as possible for them to secure peace. Putin made another statement about these weapons. He said he congratulated his military on their successful experimental tests. And he said there will be more experimental tests. And he said the tests were a success. So, and they can reach Europe. No problemo. And the speed of the missiles by Ukrainian forces, they said the second stage of those missiles, I got a freeze frame shot of when they are raining down, 6 of them in a row. They said it wasn't Mach 10, it was Mach 11. Yeah, Todd, they said Mach 10, but what, I don't know how they're calculating it, but maybe they're trying to see them make themselves more of a victim than, or let people know how fast they are by saying 11 rather than 10. I don't think it makes much of a damn difference, really. If somebody 400 pounds does a human avalanche on me, and somebody says, oh, no, they weren't 400 pounds, they were 420. Oh, okay. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. So reports came out that what they call the Verkhovna Rada, which is the Ukrainian parliament, canceled their meeting because there was a threat of a missile strike on Ukrainian parliament in the coming days. So they have shagged. They have shagged out of the building. They're gone. I got a picture. I'll leave this in my studio. A picture of some wreckage that survived from those missile strikes. Let's see. A wreckage of the newest hypersonic MRBM Oreshnik. 30 minutes before the launch of Oreshnik, Russia sent the United States an automatic notification through the Nuclear Risk Reduction Center. So we knew about it a half an hour before it happened. And Putin has said they will warn civilians if one is going to come their way. Now, I'm sure it'll be more than a 30-minute warning because it doesn't matter if it's an hour or 2 hours. They can't stop it. Talk about nothing being able to stop what's coming. They have no technology to stop it. So Kiev has no radar to detect Oreshnik missiles and no air defense systems that would intercept them, according to the New York Times. And below that, I've got a bunch of newspaper headlines all around Europe. Because something else that's happening, not only is our media being roundly discredited, people throwing their hands up, fed up, like 250,000 leaving the Washington Post, hundreds of thousands not watching MSDNC anymore. But the news organizations overseas are losing their faith in news organizations. UK and France will stand firm against Putin. Good luck with that. Putin says UK is in the war now from the Daily Record. The Mirror says you are in the war. So what do you think people in Europe are thinking right now? Think they're going to want to keep sending money and weapons over there if they think they're going to have an Oreshnik missile hitting their cities? Oh, that's right, Jeffrey. I forgot about that. The one whose car went backwards into a pond. Yeah, hi, Tara. Putin ain't bluffing. Meanwhile, Little Rocket Man. I guess we'll call Elon Big Rocket Man and Kim Jong Il or Un. He's Little Rocket Man. Little Rocket Man had a parade of some sort. The situation on the Korean Peninsula could lead to the most destructive thermonuclear war. That's what Kim Jong-il. It was an arms exhibition in Pyongyang, kind of like a parade of all their, I mean, they would have tractors with rocket launchers on them. I'm not kidding you. Russia sent them top of the line missile interceptor batteries last week to North Korea. So during this exhibition, arms exhibition, he was quoted as saying, "Never before have the parties to the conflict on the Korean Peninsula been in such a dangerous and acute confrontation, in a situation that could at any moment escalate to the most destructive thermonuclear war," Kim said at the openings of the arms exhibition. According to him, the United States is deploying enormous strategic assets, stuff we don't know about, including nuclear ones, in order to maintain and strengthen its dominance over its satellites. And by satellites, he could be talking about France, you know, UK. But do you hear anybody reporting about that? Russia made it, it's open. It's not secret. They sent them those high-tech missile interceptor batteries, I think a half a dozen of them. And North Korea has troops. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko believes that the world is on the brink of a world war. Third World War. We have been talking a lot lately about how, God willing, a third world war does not start, that we are simply on the eve of this terrible event. But thank God, humanity is somehow still holding back and has not yet plunged into this third world war, Lukashenko said. Do you hear anybody reporting that in the news in America? No. No, they're complaining about Matt Gaetz. Oh, we can't complain about him anymore. We're going to complain. Who can we complain about? Donald Trump. An emergency meeting of the Ukraine NATO Council will be held on November 26th to discuss the consequences of the use of new Russian missiles at a Ukrainian defense industry facility. Yeah, that thing no longer exists because it was a successful strike. Whoa, where's my chats? There we go. All right, spaghetti. Don't get upset. Have some spaghetti. Miss Mendersu's making spaghetti. So, yeah, Putin's the only sane one. This Prime Minister Viktor Orban, how many times have you heard Trump mention Viktor Orban at his rallies and his speeches? Well, what has Viktor Orban got to say about all this? Western countries should take Vladimir Putin's statement very seriously, said Hungarian Prime Minister Orban. He noted that public communications are carried out differently in different countries. Quote, but if the president says something in Russia, then these are not empty words. This is not a communications trick, said Orban. Yeah, we know a lot about communication tricks because we have corrupt media. But anyway, goes on to say the Hungarian prime minister recalled that Russia has, quote, one of the most powerful armies in the world, which has the most modern, most destructive weapons, unquote. In Putin's latest statements, he pointed out that the U.S., France, and Britain were now, for all intents and purposes, at war with Russia. U.S. because of the ATACMS missiles, and France and the U.K. because of the Storm Shadows. He left out somebody. Which country did he leave out? He left out Germany, where all the Germs live. So I get the prime minister, president, or whatever the name is, Scholz. I talked about how he made a phone call to Putin about 4 days, maybe 5 days ago. Kind of an emergency phone call from what I understood. And strongly reiterated that they have no intentions of approving any long-range missiles. I believe they have the Taurus, a bull, and he said, no, we're not letting them use Taurus. So Germany did not get included in that list. It was UK, France, and the US. But Scholz called the ballistic strike in the Dnieper a, quote, dangerous escalation. How dangerous this war is shown to us by the latest escalation. Putin used medium-range missiles to strike at Ukrainian territory, a frightening escalation. Scholz said and also at the same time, mentioning the dispatch of Korean troops into the mix. Also, Schultz repeated that Germany does not intend to supply Taurus to Ukraine, according to him, in order to avoid a conflict between NATO and Russia. So I found it interesting that Putin did not say NATO, okay? He mentioned 3 countries. He also said in his statement that those 3 countries, that their military facilities are fair game and at risk. So the reporter put up a list of things, right? Because this Schultz guy was trying to smooth things over with Ruski land. But then, number 1, the German government confirmed the existence of previously leaked plans in case of war with Russia. So those leaked plans, I think, prompted Schultz to call Putin earlier in the week and say, wait a minute, we got nothing to do with it. So that was one thing. The other thing was Lukashenko stating that the world's on the brink of Third World War. The third thing, Kim Jong-un said the situation on the Korean Peninsula could lead to a destructive thermonuclear war. And the fourth thing is that the Russian armed forces will develop mechanisms for notifying the civilian population of Ukraine in case the event of plans for a new ballistic missile strikes. And the reporter says, well, here's to a bright future. Those 4 things don't bode well for the whole situation. And that things are ongoing. Here's that article. Hollywood actor Rob Reiner checks into a mental asylum. He did, however, say over MAGA scum. But, you know, he's a disturbed individual. And he was made disturbed by a weaponized news delivery system. Using that term very loosely, news. Well, this business about Korean involvement. The search for North Korean troops continues. According to the American press, they have now surfaced in Mariupol. Apparently, they got separated from the pack in the Kursk region. Mariupol is in Ukraine proper. Now, my early videos discuss the siege in Mariupol, but anyway, that's another thing. But we'll go on with this. It says North Korean technical specialists have arrived in Mariupol. CNN reports. According to the publication's source, the purpose of the North Korean technical specialists' arrival is unclear. The CNN source specified that North Koreans remain separated from Russian units they support. He also said the Korean specialists live separately from the Russians with their own quarters, food, music, and films. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. I think they're on Russian territory in the Kursk region, and that they are not in the occupied Ukrainian territory. I'll put that up with the other reports from the media that get proven to be false or are meant to agitate or instigate until I hear otherwise from a credible source. Whatever comes out of CNN, like Archie Bunker, you say, yeah, Trump's planning to pull them out of NATO, shook them up, and who's going to shake them up? Whitaker. He's going to be going over there. You know, he's like 6'3" and built like a brick, you know what house. Yeah, Raven Ellen. Who was the one I just saw? Richard Gere. Richard Gere moved. Richard Gere is happily moving to Spain. My wife gave me 7 years in the U.S. Now I'm going to go to Spain for her. Yeah. Well, you are, I believe, one of the notorious uh, Hollywood actors involved in some of this crap we see going on. P. Diddy was in court today trying to get out. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't know what he's got to pretty much build his own facility and pay for his own guards if he's got any hope of getting out. I don't know how that's going to work. But anyway, the Russian authorities are not crazy and do not want to use nuclear weapons. Deputy Chairman of the Russian Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, said in an interview with the Al Arabiya TV channel. According to him, the use of nuclear weapons is an extreme option. We would really not like this to ever happen. There are no crazy people in the Russian Federation, he said, as quoted by the TV channel. Well, you know what? I might come across that statement. Oh, here it is. Putin's further statement after the speech I played. He said that he congratulated them on the successful tests and said they would continue the tests. And no one in the world has such a weapon yet. And when used in groups, the Oreshnik will be comparable to a strategic weapon. When used in groups, in other words, they don't have to use nuclear weapons. When used in groups, it is the same effect, destruction effect, maybe not radiation. The results achieved and the speed of development of Oreshnik cause pride and admiration. Oreshnik is not a modernization of old systems. It is a new development. There are several systems similar to Oreshnik in Russia. The decision on serial production has been made and is practically organized, and the missile will be put into service in the strategic military forces. The Oreshnik complex, I guess the entirety of the system, can reach targets in Europe. Throughout Europe. So there. What do they got to say about that? From this point onward, the use of missiles versus Russia from UK and US, the regional conflict in Ukraine provoked by the West has assumed elements of a global nature. In other words, it's not just Ukraine versus Russia anymore. How's that for a legal notice? Hi, Colette. How you doing? That's right, Tara. Something moving that fast. Well, I think we're going to have a lot of questions answered about these ones fleeing. And Devin Nunes put out, he just reposts things sometimes. Doesn't say anything, just reposts things. He posted this either late last night or this morning. As of late Tuesday, this is from somebody named Julia on Truth. As of late Tuesday, California had an estimated 570,500 ballots statewide yet to be counted. The election was more than 2 weeks ago. And that ties into an article that says 15 days after the election, votes are still being counted in California, according to the Secretary of State. And they said that Sacramento was ground zero. Ground zero for a majority of these votes. Are they sprinkling them around the state trying to steal representative seats in the House? Is that their game? I think we're going to find out. I think, California, Arizona, Pennsylvania. Because that Casey guy, was that Michigan? Casey was trying to steal that Senate seat. He conceded. But that doesn't mean there shouldn't be arrests. So we'll add Michigan to the list. Tomorrow is Army versus Notre Dame. And I got a telegram, a copy of a telegram from what is this? From Babe Ruth. Newt Rockne, Notre Dame. Oh, this is from 1928. Can you please get 10 good tickets for Lou Gehrig and me to see Notre Dame Army at New York? Stop. Advise amount, care, Christy, and I will send checks. Stop. We are pulling for you and Al. Signed, Babe Ruth. So, yeah. They announced yesterday that Notre Dame Cathedral was formally complete in its restoration. And if you recall, Notre Dame burned, and Trump was frantically telling them to do something, spray seawater on there with fireboats or do whatever you can to save it. And the rumor is Michelle was a big Mike Shell, okay, was sitting in a boat, drinking a wine, watching it burn. These people are evil, and we know it. But it's reopened and formally complete in its restoration, and Notre Dame's going to play tomorrow. Did you know that Riley Gaines, the swimmer Riley Gaines, her husband is applying for trying to get a green card? Now, here is a normal woman, a successful athlete, a champion for normal women. Her husband wants to get a green card. I don't know where he's from. But they won't give him a green card. You know why? He can't come in the country. The Biden regime will not allow Riley Gaines's foreign-born husband to come into the U.S. for a certain reason. Do you all know what that reason is? Got to be careful with your spelling. And I fully think, I know she's being singled out. I'm looking at a meme. Remember that look that J.D. Vance gave the camera when he was debating little Timmy? He gave that look, and it became a meme. He's got that look on his face. in this meme, and it says, the moment you realize the list of celebrities that are leaving the country because of Trump is the same as the Epstein client list. Ain't that something? And the P. Diddy list. Riley Gaines, Karen. Yeah, it's the Riley Gaines. She's married, and her husband cannot come into the U.S. because he has not gotten the jabber-do. Can you believe that? Right after we had to sit there and watch this trial of this creature, this monster that unalived Laken Riley. Do you think they asked him for his card? But they're purposely withholding permission for her husband. Another thing that Devin Nunes put up, something from a guy named Robert Kimball. It says, the electric current you're feeling in the air is caused by a new friction in the zeitgeist. Trump is its herald, but the phenomenon is much bigger than Donald Trump. Electricity in the zeitgeist. Isn't that something? I definitely feel something in the air. I feel that things are moving and going to be picking up speed. Trump dropped a half a dozen nominations for major positions in his cabinet and in his administration. So the baddies can spend the weekend freaking out. Okay? Trump's going to have a nice, relaxing weekend. He's got a team, a capable, intelligent, loyal team that is going to be carrying a lot of water for him now that he's gotten over the presidential finish line vote-wise. Washington Post says, breaking news, President-elect Donald Trump plans to fire the entire team that worked with special counsel Jack Smith to pursue 2 federal prosecutions against the former president, according to 2 individuals close to Trump's transition. He shouldn't have to fire them. They should be dismissed because they're illegitimate. Their office has no credentials. They are imposters. They are usurpers. They're provocateurs. They need to be escorted the hell out of the building, and doesn't need to be Trump doing it. But if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. They've already been told they were worthless. Elon Musk's wealth hits a record $348 billion on post-election boom. Tesla shares have climbed steadily since Trump was elected. Musk's net worth exceeds previous high set in November 2021. So, I had a friend once that bought a business. It was the same business he was in. He had not franchises, but he had, I don't want to say in case somebody, that knows the situation that's listening. But anyway, let's say he had furniture stores all around, which he didn't, but I'll say furniture stores. And another company making the same product, went belly up and sold the business. And he bought it. He got like 3 more stores in the entire business. But you know what happened to him? He ended up buying the liabilities along with the assets. Now, I know Elon Musk is a smart man. Even though he thinks we should have term limits on the Supreme Court, I talked about it in the past, I'll talk about it in the future. But buying NBC, better make sure the liabilities don't go with it. Because those legal notices that are getting put out every foggy day, every 10 minutes on The View, is just the beginning. And there's something to look at when you buy something. Do you get a general warranty or a special warranty? You know, free and clear of all liens and encumbrances and whatever. Or our special warranty is when, hey, you buy it warts and all. Don't buy it warts and all. Because you want to be financially responsible for everything those hags just on The View did. Never mind Rachel Maddow. Never mind Mika and Joe. Can you imagine the liability in just those entities I just mentioned? Never mind Lawrence O'Donnell. I mean, we're talking people that are, in my opinion, as a layman, these are people that are exposed to some serious legal jeopardy for slander, libel, knowingly participating in misinformation campaign. I don't care if Obama so-called made it legal. Obama's not Congress. Obama, what's he got, a magic wand? Remember that? Just because he calls an apple an orange doesn't make it so. Just because you can call that person you're doing whatever you're doing with them your wife doesn't make it so. So Trump's got this Dr. Janet Naishwa. I can't pronounce her name, but anyway, she's the new Surgeon General. He's got a lot of women on his team. And Al, what's his face? Al Sharpton. I'll never call him Reverend. There's nothing to revere about Al Sharpton. He's told, well, I don't see any black people. Well, I think Trump made the announcement about the HUD secretary. I think he's what's the proper way to say it now? Person of color? I mean, African American don't get it because people have been came over in the past from Jamaica, okay, Aruba, Cuba, Haiti, not just Africa. So I'll just say person of color. I don't know. I don't like that either. But Al Sharpton wants it. Well, you got it now. Also, probably more women on the cabinet than there's ever been. I mean, I don't know. Do you count Janet Napolitano and who is that Attorney General? Janet Reno. I don't think Clinton or any other Democrats has many women as he's surrounded himself with. And you see people, Asian Pacific, you know, a wide swath of different talents, different backgrounds coalescing around Trump. They're going to have a hard time trying to undermine him. And Pam Bondi, I think she's going to prove more. What was the term that guy used? and you see the clip I played last night was played all over the place today. He called her dangerous and effective, Pam Bondi. They're probably going to regret they didn't get Matt Gaetz, because she may prove to be more capable and more dangerous and more effective than Matt Gaetz. And Matt Gaetz says he's not going to be in the 119th Congress. Matt Gaetz said he was going to be operating from another perch. And what was it? What's his name here in Florida? Governor, oh gosh, what's wrong? It's getting late in the evening. Anyway, Ron DeSantis said he's not going to make him a senator, but he's going somewhere. So they might have really stepped in it by allowing Trump to position Pam Bondi in that. Already they're looking into her past divorce. Okay? They have got to spend a lot of resources, time, and try to dig up garbage about her. Good luck to you. What can they pull up about Pam Bondi that could be any worse than Hillary Clinton? Well, Hillary didn't get a divorce. Well, she damn well should have. Bill Clinton came out and put his 2 cents in, saying that Trump is doing his best to harm the government reputation or some crap like that. I'll talk about it in a future broadcast. Boy, they got a lot of nerve. But they better tread lightly, because the gloves are off. There are landing blows behind the scenes we don't even know about. With this, they got the director of the CDC, this new Surgeon General, a new person in control of the FDA. They're all going to be on the same page as RFK. Their organizations are going to be gone over by Doge, run by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. We're talking billions and billions of dollars of graft, outright theft that are just going to disappear. And how it's kind of like this missile system that Putin's got. One missile spits out half a dozen supersonic. I mean, each appointment is going to have its own batch of problems for the deep state. He's not going in there with the third string. He's not going in there with people that I wonder what they think. You think he likes me or not? Let's give him a try. No, they're not doing anything like that. Like I said, these people are tried and true. Okay, they're been through the crucible, thick and thin. The CDC is Dr. Dave Weldon. They gotta do research on him. These are people that have not been bribed, extorted, sucked into the system. The chairman of the SEC resigned. Did you hear that? Gary Gensler. I showed you his tie, Sue. Peter Strzok. Peter Strzok, the one that said, we will stop him. We have an insurance policy. He's gone. His ties to Stanford University. And also his assistant, the second in line, resigned. They're gone. The earthquake's already shaking their shoes, and they're running for cover. And I hope they're in custody, some of them. So Janet, okay, she's the Surgeon General, Janet Neishwaite. Alex Wong will be the appointed Assistant President and Principal Deputy National Security Advisor, and Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Boy, they've had him in the wings for a while. Is going to be helping out with the Trump administration. What is his role? If anybody wants to drop a hammer on some people, it's Sebastian Gorka. He'll be Deputy Assistant to the President and Senior Director for Counterterrorism. Oh boy, watch out, MS-13. Watch out, Anti-Fizzle, okay? Sebastian Gorka will put the Ajax on him. Now, he is a little soft, I think, in the Ukraine situation because of his background, his upbringing, has an affinity. You know, the Ukrainian people are not the problem. So it is good to have some balance there. Congresswoman Lori Chavez DeRemer, United States Secretary of Labor. Well, I'm sure Gorka will be managed, okay? He gets emotional. You know, he'll blow a cork. I saw him blow a cork in the Rose Garden at somebody one time. Some liberal reporter said something smart to him, and he's like 6'6". I'm not kidding. He's 6'5" or 6'6". And some little Weasley reporter said something smart to him, and I thought he was going to go over and smack him upside the head. Trump said, "I am very pleased to nominate Russell Thurlow Vout from the great state of Virginia as the director of the United States Office of Management and Budget, OMB." Now, he put that out on Truth with in a different format from the other nominations that he put up. It's different. It's typed out like a regular Truth, more like a direct message from Trump than from Trump Vance. And the director of Office and Management and Budget was a big deal. That's who the press relied on to try to discredit Ronald Reagan, was David Stockton. Remember him? Some of you all in the chats will remember going way back. David Stockton, they always interviewed him, and he always acted kind of lukewarm to Reagan, and Reagan calling it trickle-down economics and stuff like that. So Office of Management and Budget is a pretty big deal, very big deal. So I'm going to be interested to watch the dynamics behind that, especially since he put it out in a different format. Office of Management and Budget. I guess that's kind of like Office of Inspector General, okay? Waste, fraud, abuse. I don't know. We'll see. Office of Management and Budget will go over all of Congress's proposals and are supposed to give accurate as possible impact statements about proposals and bills. So that's a pretty big deal, very big deal. Scott Bassett to serve as the 79th Secretary of the Treasury. Isn't that interesting? He says 79th. Secretary of Treasury. Why do you think he said, instead of just saying Secretary of Treasury, why did he say 79th? When you think about it in context of our history, we're coming up on 250 years. So we've only had this Secretary of Treasury 79 out of 248. I don't know. I don't see him putting any numbers behind any other positions like that. Just something I'm keeping in the back of my gourd. My gourd. Before I went live, Dan Scavino put up in all capital letters, "Liberate America," in all capital letters. And before that, he put up, "Just spoke to President Trump regarding Mike Rogers as going to the FBI. It's not happening." In his own words, "I have never given it a thought." Unquote, not happening. So CNN put that garbage out, and everybody else jumped on board. And you saw how many rhino Republicans jumped on board too. Oh yeah, Mike Rogers, that'd be great, Mike Rogers. Turns out he has been anti-Trump. He's been a thorn in the side. No, just a made-up bunch of garbage. Like all the ambulances, did Trump have a stroke? Now Trump is meeting with Putin and gonna stop the war. Trying to make it look like Trump has something to do with what's going on over there. And he has said, "I'm not engaging with any foreign leaders as president-elect." Scavino also said, "I wonder if heads would explode if I moved just a little bit north and ran in the special election for Elise Stefanik's seat in New York 21, being she's going to the United Nations." Ha ha ha! What if Dan Scavino took Elise Stefanik's seat in Congress? They're throwing so much stuff at him. They got to evaluate, well, who's this person he's putting in this situation? Oh my God. I mean, it's going to take a lot of mental energy to keep up with what the options are so wide open. Who's going to take Rubio's seat? They can't do anything about that. Who's going to take Matt Gaetz and say, what's Matt Gaetz going to do? He's just a loose cannon right now. Is Scavino going to take at least? What are we going to do then? Not a good time to be a deep state creep. Creep state, I think I'll call it. Did you all see the tweet that Robert F. Kennedy put out, Jr.? He put a picture of him. It looks like on Air Force One, sitting with his uncle Jack before he was, assassinated, and when he was little. And it said he put in above the picture, black and white picture, "The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society." A quote from JFK during his secret society speech. Did you know that JFK was the 35th president of the United States? 35th. Yeah, Debbie, I'll save it in my studio and put it up in my next broadcast. Trump's the 45th and RFK was. Okay. So, yeah, television shows the train is just getting started. Admiral Rogers, that's right, Roland. I think his name is Mike also. I don't know, Roland. I can't remember. He was big in the news when when he came in a clandestine manner to Trump Tower without telling anybody. And he told Trump, they're spying on you. And Trump moved his whole operation that night out of Trump Tower in New York up to Jersey. Oh, okay, that's right, Karen. I didn't mention Sheriff Judd. See, he just put up a video where he busted a big massage parlor ring. And what's the connotation behind that? That's how they funnel these underage S3X workers, okay? Massage parlors. That's how they PIMP them out, okay? He just busted a big outfit in Florida. And he had the biggest drug bust at an airport in the history of the National Transportation Safety Board. Said it was the biggest single bust of narcotics was Grady Judd. And he said, this was last year, he said there's no way this operation could have gotten where it was, and the past operations that they completed, there's no way without help from the very top. So, hey, you better believe there's going to be people at the NSTB or NTSB or whatever it's called shaking. But they probably already resigned or, I'm going to take early retirement. They can all expect a knock at the door. Well, Miss Minnesota, people don't go there because they got a crick in their neck. I can tell you that. Bring a can of Lysol. Well, thank you, Angela. I'm glad you enjoy it. And I tell you, a lot of times it's just good for me to get up here and talk instead of trying to produce with pictures and videos. It's very distracting. It's hard to keep a train of thought. But there are two things I want to talk about in my future broadcasts. I saw a number of YouTube videos. Who was the last one that said it? Candace Owens said it. And I think it may have been Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it may have been Megyn Kelly. I'm not positive about those names, but it was three high-profile names on different interviews. They all use the term "something dark is coming." Have you all noticed that? Something dark is coming. This has been through the week, okay? And I noticed Candace Owens saying it night before last. And the other two were earlier in the week. Something dark. They feel something dark coming. And so that's kind of an interesting play on Mockingbird, where all three different sources are saying the same thing to get people to talk about it. Because Mockingbird too can play that game. Okay? I'll talk about that more in the future. The White Hats have had their own Mockingbird. Okay? And you know what was a big part of it? Our own Mockingbird operation. And I'm kind of mad at myself I didn't see it sooner. The 17th letter. 17th letter, that's right, Roland, we're the White Hat Mockingbirds. But we put out information that is accurate. We use the Mockingbird system to get out the truth. They use Mockingbird system to deceive and manipulate. That revelation came to me last week. I meant to talk about it in my broadcast, and I didn't because I would have to pull up a couple of posts where I could see the operators of the Post getting a little frustrated that people didn't catch on to the fact we were running our own Operation Mockingbird, but we were using the truth instead of C.I.A. Manipulative talking points. But we are much better preened, and we got sharper beaks, sharper claws, and we sing a song of truth. That's the difference. They're old crows now. And the other thing that is going to start coming out, I alluded to it last night, is the depth of this abuse of the unborn. I'll put it that way. And, don't dwell on it. Don't try to put your mind in the details, but one thing Al Gore did. He made it illegal to sell your own organs. You couldn't sell a kidney. You couldn't. Remember that? Well, how does that play into what they're doing? Selling organs and body parts out of Planned Parenthood. Their methods are going to come out in the future. It's gruesome. We know about it. But now that we have the majority of the world population understanding that there's a nefarious origin to what most people call the deep and then state. I call it a cabal. I call it a lot. We can call it a lot of different things. Whatever it is, we know it's there. And most people around the world know it now. Whereas they'd have told you were crazy, and a lot of people still do, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Now, the majority of the people will nod their head and say, you are right. Well, now that we've gotten them to this point, it's going to be time to bring them into the A and then Chrome and the profiting off of living human beings. That's sometimes what they call a procedure is really child napping. They're really getting a viable little human away from their mother before it's even born. And there's no identity card, there's no birth certificate, there's no name, no record. It's just a bag of cells that got sold off to a university to be experimented on, to another country for what? Who knows? It's child mapping. Have you ever thought of it that way, folks? As valuable as organs are, as valuable as very young human beings are, you think they would just put them in a dumpster or whatever? Or if you could keep it what they call viable, which is just a medical way of avoiding the term alive. Instead of saying it's a living human, they say it's a viable fetus. Get what I'm saying? We sold a heart, 2 lungs, and a liver encased and viable. That's a human. Like I said, no documentation, nothing. Who knows what to do? But anyway, I'll talk about that more in the future. Oh, that's the thing about it, Roland. There's all kinds of experiments they can do. All kinds of things. Psychological experiments, physical experiments, transfusions. You got some billionaire, 90 years old. All they got to do is a couple of times a week, the same blood type. You just hook up to this healthy non-entity and have everything, blood run through there, clean everything out better than a dialysis machine. Think I'm kidding? Well, anyway, so people are going to start opening their minds up to that, and maybe it will prevent future hearts from being hardened. We're dealing with cold-hearted, hardened hearts. It is becoming endemic in our society. Is there some way to soften the hardened hearts? And if not, we're going to have to deal with it through the law and prevent children being raised in a society that encourages hardened hearts. Okay, folks, I appreciate you all. Hi, Larry, how you doing? I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. And unless something big happens, I won't be going live tomorrow night. But if something big happens, or if I get a notion, or I get myself started, I'll go live tomorrow. But if you're subscribed and hit the notification bell, you'll know when I go live, and we can get together. So, and I hadn't mentioned it since the beginning of the broadcast, but if you would be so kind as to give me a thumbs up, I appreciate you all watching tonight, and everybody who watches after the live stream. Also, I appreciate your comments after the video. So, until we meet again, I hope you all have a great night. Hi, Gary, how you doing? And I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.